the flow of life, the trace of the now. The now is not a point, it's like a blurry trace. Like you sort of, you have a lightsaber and you're slashing the air with it. It's an arrow in flight, Zeno's arrow in flight. Existence is a vector. So I read a passage from William James when he talks about, whenever you pronounce a sentence, the whole sentence is present at every, piece or instant of that pronunciation. The sentence is a unity. It's a unity of intention. Now the sentence, it takes time to manifest itself as sound if we're talking about a spoken sentence. And it's this stretched outness over time in this ceaseless movement that I'm calling kinesis. One way I'm tempted to understand Derrida, it's like there's this, you might say there's this dream, this lust, this fantasy to somehow contract into a point. The now can contract into a point-like possession of theologically pure meaning stuff. The gnosis can be contracted to an instant. But I think we are more like jazz musicians. Sartre in Nausea, he talks about how he's in a cafe, he has to let one note die so that the next note can be born. So maybe there's a fantasy in us that we could stop this blurry go round, push pause. And I think there's also a fantasy to get to the end, to finally say it, and to say it finally. But like a jazz man returning to an old riff, but improvising on the level of detail, we have this repetition that is not quite a repetition. You have the attempt to repeat. And then when you're trying to do, let's go back to the snow is white and she is weiß. So, I think Heidegger is a great philosopher. And this is a theme that he discusses. If I try to repeat Heidegger, I would fail to repeat him if I tried to repeat him in a kind of uncreative or literal way. You might say that we try to repeat the essence, but to repeat the essence, we cannot repeat what you might call the accident. So to me, kinesis also refers to this on-the-wayness, this inescapable on-the-wayness, and this irreducible blurriness. So I make these recordings. I have a sense of what I want to say, but I also have a sense that there are better words around the corner. And sometimes I like to make recordings instead of write, because the pressure and the rhythm will sometimes help me invent a new phrase. Now, zooming out, to the big picture, so kinesis is another word here for the world's manifestation. So I don't like to think of the subject as a container. To me, consciousness is the presence of the world, or the presencing of the world, or you could say that consciousness is temporality or primal time. Yes, I have daydreams, and I can sort of murmur to myself. There are some entities in the world that are more private, more reserved for me, but all of this is in the world. For me, the subject shrinks to an infinitesimal point, sort of how Wittgenstein describes it in the Tractatus. The subject is something like the presence of the world from a point of view. Some of these entities are closer and more private, but it's all the streaming world. And it is all what you might call meaningful quality, or an always already significant and already articulated life world. So one of the points that I find really illuminating in Heidegger, he discusses this in many works, but he discusses it in Being and Time. So the life world isn't meaningful because we project our concepts on it. It's because the life world is meaningful that certain marks and noises can come to play conventional and then sometimes interchangeable roles. So the meaning of the life world is fundamental, and language is fundamentally an attempt to point. It is disclosive. So I've used this example of, hey, your shoe is untied, but I can also point at your shoe. And this video right now is my attempt to point out our operation in quality, and to show how we don't have to have dualism to make sense of meaning or significance. I'm trying to discuss what you might call the presence and quality of meaning. And the presence would be, the first person manifestation, the hearing of a sound act, or, the seeing or the reading of an inscription, right? So a situated perception finds the sign. I like the word sign. And the sign, it radiates, or whatever metaphor you want. It has significance. It glows with significance, or it rattles or hums with significance. Now, of course, I'm pointing out to the very thing that's happening right now. The way these words sort of pass over your ear or through your ear over time, and the way that the meaning unfolds in this accumulative way that is also projective or ahead of itself.